Hello everyone. Thank you, my amazing supporters, for all the love you've shown to my horror story channel. I'm sending that love right back to you. I'd love for you to drop a comment and let me know which city you're watching from. If this is your first time here, please consider subscribing to my channel and liking this dark web horror video. It helps grow our creepy community and makes it possible for me to bring you even more scary stories like these. Tonight, I have 2 more deep web horror stories from the secret depths of the dark web. Expect some unexpected twists, so make sure to stay until the end. Enjoy the video. It started as a stupid idea. I was bored, a little drunk, and decided to explore the dark web out of curiosity. I wasn't looking for anything specific, but then I stumbled upon a listing. Mystery USB drive. For the brave only, not for the weak. The price was ridiculously low, and the description promised an unforgettable experience. Of course, I ordered it. The USB arrived a few days later, packaged in a plain black box with no labels. When I plugged it into my laptop, a single folder appeared on the screen titled, "Open Me." Inside was one video file named Watch and Learn. I clicked on it. The video was grainy, like it had been recorded on an old camcorder. It showed a dimly lit room with a single chair in the center. A figure sat on the chair, their face obscured by a hood. They were whispering something, but the audio was too distorted to make out the words. Suddenly, the figure leaned forward, and the screen went black. A message appeared. "You've been chosen. Follow the instructions." I laughed it off. Some edgy ARG, I thought. But then my laptop froze, the screen flickered, and a new folder appeared on my desktop. "Your turn." Inside was a text file with a single line. "Record yourself, show your face, upload it." I closed the laptop, feeling uneasy. This was getting weird, but curiosity got the better of me. The next day, I recorded a short video of myself, just my face, saying, "What do you want?" I uploaded it to a link provided in the text file. Nothing happened for a few days. I almost forgot about it. Then, one night, I woke up to the sound of my laptop fan whirring loudly. The screen was on, displaying a new video. My heart dropped when I realized it was footage of me, sleeping. The camera angle was from inside my room, as if someone had been standing in the corner watching me. I panicked. I unplugged the USB and threw it in a drawer, but the videos kept coming. Every night, a new clip would appear on my laptop, showing me in different parts of my apartment. I changed the locks, installed security cameras, and even stayed at a friend's place for a few nights. But no matter where I went, the videos kept coming. It was like the USB had infected my entire life. I went back to the dark web, desperate to find the seller. The listing was gone, but I found a forum thread about the USB. The comments were chilling. People talked about a game that the USB initiates, a game where you either comply or face the consequences. One user wrote, "It's not just a USB, it's a gateway. Once you plug it in, it's already too late." I didn't believe it, not until the night I saw her. I was reviewing the footage from my security cameras when I noticed something strange. In one of the clips, a figure was standing in my living room, staring directly at the camera. It was a woman, her face pale and gaunt, her eyes hollow. She looked familiar. And then it hit me. She looked exactly like me. I rewound the footage, my hands shaking. The woman was there in every clip, always in the background, always watching. But she wasn't just watching, she was mimicking me. If I sat on the couch, she sat on an invisible couch behind me. If I made coffee, she mimed the same motions. It was like she was learning how to be me. The final video came a week later. It was a recording of my bedroom, but something was off. The room was mirrored, like the footage had been flipped. And there she was, sitting on my bed, staring at the camera. She smiled, a cold, lifeless smile, and said, "Thank you for the tutorial. I'm ready now." The screen went black and my laptop shut down. When I turned it back on, all the files were gone. The USB was gone too. I thought it was over, but then I started noticing small changes. My toothbrush was in the wrong spot. My clothes were folded differently. And sometimes, when I looked in the mirror, I'd see her reflection instead of mine, just for a split second. Last night, I woke up to the sound of someone moving around in my apartment. I grabbed a knife and crept into the living room. She was there, standing in the dark, wearing my clothes. She turned to me and smiled. "You don't need this life anymore," she said. "I'll take it from here." I tried to scream, but no sound came out. She stepped closer, and everything went black. When I woke up, I was in the chair from the first video. The room was dimly lit, just like in the footage. A laptop was set up in front of me, its screen displaying a live feed of my apartment. She was there, moving around like she owned the place. A message appeared on the screen. "Your turn to watch." I never meant to go that deep into the dark web. Sure, I'd browsed around before. Who hasn't these days? A little cryptocurrency here, some encrypted messages there. Nothing serious. But that changed the day I got curious about those stories of red rooms and mystery boxes. I should have known better. 20 years in IT security should have taught me that much. It started with a Reddit post. Some kid claiming he'd bought a mystery box off the dark web and received coordinates to a storage unit. Inside, he'd found an old laptop. Just a beaten up Toshiba, nothing special. Except when he'd booted it up, it had connected automatically to an unknown network. I knew it was probably fake. These stories always are. But something about the technical details caught my attention. The way he described the network protocols, the routing patterns. It was too specific, too accurate for your average creepypasta writer. So I did what any self-respecting security expert would do. I tried to replicate it. Set up all the proper protections first, of course. VPN, encrypted connection, the works. Found the marketplace easily enough. It was hidden, but not that hidden. The listing looked exactly like the kid had described. Mystery box number 37, previous owners unknown. The price was steep, 2.5 Bitcoin. But I'd done well with my investments over the years, and curiosity has always been my weakness. 3 days later, a package arrived at my dead drop location. It wasn't a laptop. The box was old, made of dark wood with brass fittings that had turned green with age, no bigger than a hardback book, and carved into its surface was a series of numbers that looked suspiciously like IPv6 addresses. I should have burned it, should have thrown it in the nearest dumpster and walked away. Instead, I took it to my home office and started analyzing the carved numbers. That's when my monitors went black, all 6 of them, simultaneously. They came back on a second later, but something was different. The numbers from the box were now scrolling across every screen, and in the bottom right corner of each monitor was a small counter. 23:59:59. It was counting down. That's when my phone rang. The caller ID showed my own number, but that wasn't what made my blood run cold. It was the message that appeared on my main screen. Answer it, Mr. Blackwood. Your family's safety depends on the next 24 hours. They knew my name, and worse, they knew about my family, even though I'd used 6 different aliases to buy that damn box. The phone kept ringing. The counter kept ticking down. 23:59:30, 23:59:29, 23:59:28. I picked up the phone. Hello. My voice cracked as I answered the phone. Static. Just static at first, but then something else. A sound like dial-up modems used to make, but wrong somehow. The pitch kept shifting, rising and falling in patterns that made my teeth ache. And underneath it all, I could swear I heard voices, hundreds of them, all whispering different strings of numbers. I'm a tech guy. I understand noise. This wasn't noise. This was something else. The counter on my screens hit 23:45 when the static finally cleared. The voice that came through wasn't human. Welcome to the network, Mr. Blackwood. Your credentials have been accepted. I hadn't given any credentials, unless... My eyes darted to the box. The carved numbers weren't IPv6 addresses at all. They were login coordinates for something much older, much deeper in the web than I'd ever ventured. Your previous searches for red rooms have been noted, the voice continued. We offer something far more interesting. You will be our eyes. My webcams all activated simultaneously, but they weren't showing my office. Each screen displayed a different room, a different scene. A basement with damp concrete walls, lit by a single flickering fluorescent tube. A bedroom with peeling floral wallpaper and a rusted metal bed frame. A room filled with stainless steel tables and medical equipment that had no business being there. And in each room, I won't describe what I saw in those rooms, I can't. But I understood now why they called them red rooms. No, I said, reaching to disconnect my system. I'm not participating in this. The network has already registered your biometric data, Mr. Blackwood. Your heart rate is currently 124 beats per minute. Your pupils are dilated. Your hands are shaking, the left more than the right. We know everything about you now. I froze. They were right about every detail. And we know about the cabin in Montana, the one where Sarah and little Emma are heading right now for their weekend getaway, the one you thought nobody knew about. The blood drained from my face. I'd booked that cabin under a completely different identity, paid in cash, used a burner phone. There was no way. Your task is simple. Watch, choose, vote, or they die. You have... There was that modem screech again. 22 hours, 51 minutes, and 17 seconds remaining. The network welcomes your participation. The screens flickered. Now each one showed a different person, bound to chairs. Men, women, young, old. Above each feed was a simple button: live or die. Choose one to live every hour, the voice said. The rest will feed the network. And Mr. Blackwood, don't try to trace these feeds. The last participant who tried that, well, perhaps you'd like to see. My printer suddenly whirred to life, spitting out photos. I didn't want to look, but my eyes were drawn to them anyway. They showed a man's office, much like mine. But the walls were... Your first vote is required in 60 seconds, the voice said. Welcome to the network. The counter kept ticking down. 22, 50, 45, 22, 50, 44, 22, 50, 43. And all I could think was, what had that damn mystery box really connected me to? 22 hours of choices. 22 hours of watching people sob through their gags, seeing the hope die in their eyes when I didn't choose them. 22 hours of becoming a monster, one click at a time. The counter now showed 00:59:59. 1 hour left. My office reeked of coffee and sweat. Empty energy drink cans littered my desk. I'd tried everything. Tracking IP addresses, analyzing video artifacts, looking for patterns in the background noise. Nothing. The network was a maze of dead ends and false leads. The voice hadn't lied about the previous participant. I'd found fragments of his code scattered across the dark web, each piece more corrupted than the last. His last message, posted seconds before his feeds went dark, haunted me. They're in the system. They're in my system. That's when my keyboard started bleeding. Number not blood. I touched the red liquid seeping between the keys. It was warm, sticky, but not blood. It smelled like copper and ozone, like a computer's circuits had melted and somehow liquefied. Final round, Mr. Blackwood, the voice crackled through my speakers. Special rules apply. My screens flickered one last time. Now they showed only 2 feeds. The left screen, Sarah and Emma, bound and gagged in what I recognized as our cabin's basement. Emma's eyes were wide with terror, tears streaming down her face. Sarah was struggling against her restraints, trying to position herself between our daughter and whatever was behind the camera. The right screen. All the people I'd chosen to live over the past 22 hours. 12 terrified faces looking at their own cameras. The network requires balance, the voice said. You saved 12. Now choose your family or your saved souls. One lives, the rest feed the network. You have 5 minutes. You said if I played along, I started. We said they wouldn't die. We never specified when that guarantee expired. I stared at the screens, my mind racing. There had to be a way out. Had to be something in all that code I'd analyzed. All those patterns. Wait. Patterns. I looked at the carved numbers on the box again. Not IPv6, not coordinates. They were a key. All this time, I'd been looking at it wrong because I was thinking like a programmer, not like a cryptographer. 2 minutes, the voice announced. My fingers flew across the keyboard, entering strings of numbers. The box's surface felt hot under my hands, those carved digits now glowing with a faint blue light. 1 minute. I was close, so close. The numbers weren't a key, they were a lock, and every lock has a mechanism. 30 seconds. The box clicked, opened. Inside was a single USB drive. 10 seconds. I plugged it in. 5. Entered the command. 4. Pressed enter. 3. The screens went black. 2. The voice cut off. For 3 heartbeats, there was absolute silence. Then my speakers crackled one last time. But it wasn't the voice. It was a sound I recognized from my earliest days of programming. The distinct tone of a system rebooting. The screens came back on. Empty chairs, empty rooms, and a single message. Network. Reset complete. Thank you for your participation in our security audit. Your family has been released. Below it smaller. Your application to join the network has been accepted. My phone buzzed. A text from Sarah. On our way home. Weird thing. Neither of us remembers anything after stopping for gas. Everything okay? I looked at my screens, still showing those empty rooms. Looked at the box on my desk, now cool and seemingly ordinary. Looked at my email, where a new message had just arrived. Welcome to the Network Security Division. Your first assignment begins in 24 hours. The counter started ticking down again. And somewhere, in the depths of the dark web, another mystery box was being listed for sale.